Just got back from the old pick and pull. Got myself an AE92 cylinder head, so that is sick, with AE92 distributor as well. So that is awesome. It's a shame that the car was in the yard, but it gave me what I needed. I could have used the block as well, but that was probably why it was in the wrecking yard, because the car didn't have damage on it, so I'm guessing the block was junk or something, or it overheated, I don't know. But I still have to get this machined, of course, but it is back. Took the trusty VFR 800 over there, because it's my only ride at the moment, but did it just fine. Never done 80 miles an hour with a cylinder head on the back before, so that was interesting. But it looks pretty good. So everyone who knows 4AGs is gonna cry, because it's a big port, but it was also, I think I paid like $110 for cylinder head cams, cam gears, distributor, and fuel rails in my backpack. And yeah, not a bad score. So I'm gonna do the long process of unwrapping this whole thing now, and it's pretty sturdy though. It wasn't going anywhere.
Can you tell us a story on Primal? Man, those two pumps are cool, they look so nice. We go about this bit. You say it's good? Yeah.
Here is the blown head gasket, and unfortunately that is not all that is wrong with my 4AG. As you can see, the engine's out of the car once again. Very unfortunate series of events here, but I had no idea that it would happen like this. So not really my fault. I guess it was just time for the motor to go. Along with the head gasket, it kind of took the block with it. I'll bring this down here so you can see it better. So you can see that there. There's the damage to the block right there. Alright, so this is going to be really difficult to tell on camera because it's not really picking it up because of the light. So the surface of the block right here is very porous, and what I'm thinking happened is there's a chunk out of the piston, which I'll show you in a second, and it fused to this part of the block right here, because this is where the water gallery is, and then this is the area where the head gasket blew. So this got way too hot, and I guess the water started seeping into the cylinder right here, just over here, so it went from this gallery inside the cylinder. So this is the damage here. So the block surface is very bad, and that's what it's supposed to look like. Just totally smooth, nothing wrong. And yeah, so basically it's so deep that I don't even think a resurface of the block would cut it, and I just don't feel comfortable with it. So I guess for now I'm just gonna junk it because I don't want to deal with it. You can see the chunk of the piston right there is what fused to this part of the block, is my guess. So I guess it was just time for this engine to go. I can't imagine why it blew. Not in great condition, so I don't know. This is just an old engine that's been abused and whatever. I guess it's time to junk it. So I still have to rob some parts off of it though. I'm gonna keep the crank and oh yeah, this rod actually bent as well. So this has a bent rod as well as that chipped cylinder because this cylinder was full of water trying to push up and it just bent the rod a little bit. Only just slightly, but it's enough to make a difference. I gotta steal the oil filter housing off the side of the block still. And gotta steal the bolt right here for my crank pulley. And possibly scavenge the oil pump. If anyone can tell me what this is right here, this threaded little Allen bolt thing, my brain is telling me it's like a tensioner for the oil pump that goes right in there, but let me know because I loosened it on my new engine on accident and I'm kind of concerned about it. Here's the old cylinder head with a couple bent valves. I believe these 4 were affected because they're over the rear cylinder, so the one that actually filled with water. So I got a new cylinder head from an AE92, it's a little bit better, and I could have that resurfaced and all the valves are fine, very low mileage, and just throw that in and not have to worry about this. So this is the engine I should have started out with in the first place. I got this with the car, if you remember. Apparently it's a Geo Prism 4AG, so technically it's an AE92 block and head, but I'm going to be saving this cylinder head for a different engine. Eventually I'm going to do a 7AGE, and I want the small port head for the 7AG, but I got a big port head because I have a big port ECU and a big port fuel rail, a big port intake manifold, so it just makes sense to get a big port. It's not going to make too big of a difference at all really with a stock 4AG, you know, small port versus big port. I know the small port's better, but this is the one I picked up from the AE92, so I'm going to get this decked and pressure tested, so should be pretty easy. So yeah, basically I get to start stripping this engine down, water pump, timing belt off, head off, and then sort of inspect what's going on in there. My plan is to leave the block how it is right now because I don't want to mess with the bearings or anything. I just don't trust myself with that, and I need a car that runs, so I really want to put my focus towards the 7AG with the 1.8 instead of this 1.6. So that's kind of my plan right now, but yeah, I'm not afraid to do another engine build. I just would rather put more effort into a better engine.
The good thing is you can just pop this motor straight out and the TD22 basically bolt in because they are built on the same architecture, so same belt housing pattern, same ending out pattern.
Alright, so just got my cylinder head back from the machine shop. So good practice is to resurface the cylinder head always when you take it off from a engine block. So there's a certain procedure of removing the head bolts when you actually, you know, remove this from the engine. Because this, believe it or not, can warp, and even a little bit is kind of a big deal. So right now I'm just working on lapping the valves. I just have this cylinder to go. These 2 exhaust ports need a little bit of work, and I'm just going to do the intake too, even though they're fine because might as well. You can see right there on the inside on that silver finish right there. It's not looking great, and here's a section I did just now off camera. You can see it's a lot smoother. There's no more of that porous sort of pitting inside the actual opening for the valve. So I haven't done this side yet. So basically you want them all to look like this, just so the valve can actually seat properly and there's no leaks. So pretty important step, and you know, this is about the only time you can do it. You can't do this on the car. So yeah, so gonna do these right now, and I'm gonna show you my little method of doing so. So basically got a little valve compound, a little grinding paste, and I just want to put it right on the inside. This doesn't have to be, you know, super pretty or anything. Just want to spread it all around the outside. Alright, so I just put some compound around the opening for the valve. Really doesn't have to be anything special, just using this Permatex valve grinding compound. And You always want to keep the valves and their specific openings together. Just put a valve inside like that. Just going to put a piece of vacuum line on the end of it. It's a pretty tight fit because you don't want it slipping around. Alright, so now I got the end of the vacuum line attached to the drill. So basically I'm just moving it out with the drill and turning it. Basically all I'm doing is just that compound is grinding up against the two surfaces on the end of the valve like that when it's spinning. You want to keep it there until it sounds really coarse and then you can't really hear anything, it just gets smoother. So you don't really want to half-ass this, you want to do it right the first time because it really would suck if I have to take the cylinder head off again because I have a leaky exhaust valve or something dumb like that. So do it right the first time, and as with anything pretty much on cars and in general.
hitch on it, and I'll just cut that out. I do this thing because the style is back on for functionality.
Man, I'm gonna want to reinforce that a lot. See, this thing wasn't even designed. Did that.
Already. You need the rubber case on the phone.
This thing feels a lot better put together than the phone.
Yes.
Already.
Immediately.
Oh, just kidding. Ambulance, fuck 'em. They're coming to rescue the dogs.
So we're in Mike's Cressida right now. Probably can't hear shit. It's not even that loud. Is the exhaust closed right now?
Oh, it's closed, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the last time we recorded this, it was like still not driving. I don't even know when the last time we filmed this is.
Yeah, I
but
don't think it was driving. The brakes weren't done yet.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to get it on video real quick, since it's like together. I think this is actually the first time I've, you know, been actually in the car. Oh.
See?
Come on, man.
There it is. Damn, that's pretty good.
It's so much faster than the blue.
It is. The clutch actually grabs. That's awesome. So when Mike put this together, he actually didn't know how to drive a manual transmission,
I still don't.
and he still doesn't. But it rips, and that's way faster than my Mark II was.